I spent $5,000 a few months back going golfing with Ryan Pineda, and in this video, I'm gonna tell you if it was worth it. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Justin Thomas. I own several businesses. One of them is called Insurance Advertising Masters, where we teach insurance agents how to build funnels, paid ads, YouTube ads, all that stuff so they can scale their business and become a real business owner. I also own an insurance agency. I'm also interested in real estate. So on this channel, we like to talk a little bit about everything having to do with all that stuff and just business in general. So again, if you're new here, welcome. In this video, I'm gonna be going over what my experience was golfing with Ryan Pineda, and I spent $5,000 to do it. And I'm gonna go through, one, was it worth it? And I'm just gonna start off right off the bat. Yes, I would say it was worth it. If you are new, if you haven't watched many of my videos, I will tell you that I am extremely bullish on paying for learning things, paying for people's times, paying for mentors, paying for courses, whatever it may be. And the reason that I love to do that is because when you pay people for their information, you buy time, which is one of the assets that we actually have very little of, and most people mismanage and misuse their time. So when you pay other people for their information, you're buying your time back because you don't have to spend all that time learning it. You can just learn from them. And that is why I am a huge proponent of paying people for their time, paying people for what they've learned, their experiences, their life stories, because I don't want to make the same mistakes and I'd rather just learn from them. And for you guys starting out, like the way I started out, it probably makes sense to just start at least on YouTube, start learning from other people and then buying courses. But I'm to the point now where I don't even really like to buy courses. I just want to go directly to the source and pay them for their time, because there's a lot of things that are nuanced and a little bit more in depth or customized that it's really hard to put into a course, because a lot of people, especially as you get higher up in business or whatever you're learning, it becomes a lot more customized, the knowledge that you need to have in order to get to the next level. And so I'm at the point where I really don't even buy courses anymore. I just go find the person and give them money and say, hey, teach me this as well and as fast as you can so that I can retain it and learn it. It's the number one thing that I personally have found to put my money in, because it levels up my ability, and I already have this channel to pump that into, which is my business. And so anytime that I pay for knowledge, it has a massive ROI because it can go right into there, and it's way higher than putting my money into other places. At least right now, until I've learned all the skills that I need to learn, that's where almost all of my money continues to go. Now I want to get into it. So I want to share with you guys what I learned. There were 3 big takeaways that I wanted to learn when I went and spent some time with Ryan, because he is quite a bit ahead of me. I think he does $15 or more million per year. He's got several businesses. So there were a lot of things that I wanted to learn, but I knew that if I wanted to take the most advantage of this limited amount of time I had with him, I needed to come in with some expectations and really narrow it down to a few things that I wanted to learn. So I'm gonna get into those right now, and then what he told me and what I learned so I can share it with you guys, which I would say it's way more than just a $5,000 lesson. So strap in, we're gonna get into that. But before we do, I want you guys to put a comment down below. If you could golf with anybody in the world, I would even say alive or dead, who would it be? Who would you wanna spend 4 hours with, picking their brain, asking them questions, asking life experiences, learning from? Put that in the comments, because I'm actually just really curious about that, and I'm excited to see what you guys have to say. All right, so here are the 3 things that I wanted to take away from my time with Ryan. The first thing is, how have you grown your businesses so fast and so well? The second thing is, should I start my own house flipping business? If you guys don't know who Ryan Pineda is, go check him out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. He is a very smart guy. He's also a Christian like me, which is one of the big reasons that I wanted to spend some time with him and really learn how he's incorporated Christianity and God into his life, into his businesses. But I would say his main one, and really where he's kind of spent a lot of his time, especially like on social media, has to do with real estate, and specifically buying and flipping houses and getting started building a business like that. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Vegas, here in this pretty cool Airbnb. We'll show you it later. We'll do a little bit of a walkthrough. But about to head out because I'm going golfing with Ryan Pineda this morning. Hoping to get some, well, just have a good time, but also just get a lot of good advice. Have kind of a coaching session on social media, what he's doing with his coaching company, and then also, he's the real estate guy. So what are some best ways to be investing my money when it comes to real estate?
Done this before, boys. That's a fake car.
So when I first came across him, I knew that I wanted to get into real estate investing, but one of my questions was, should I start my own house flipping business? And I felt that the answer would be no, but the reason that I wanted to do that was because I have experience taking businesses from the ground up and growing them and putting in a team and scaling it. And so I wanted to see if Ryan thought that because I have those skills, if it would be an advantageous business idea for me to do and try and create that somewhat passively by putting the right people in place and on my team. So that's the first thing. The second thing was, how have you scaled your businesses so fast and so well? Because he's done a great job of scaling them really quickly, but he's also done a great job of putting really good team members and not blowing up. A lot of people, when they scale, they'll just blow the business up in a not good way. So that was one of my other questions. And then finally, my third expectation that I wanted to take away from my time with him was social media. So let's get into what his answers were for me.
Like, if you got in my rookie program, you said you're just in the course, right? Right. If you got in the rookie program, there are 500 students in there who don't have money, and they're all hustling for deals.
Yeah.
There's 500 people who you could easily fund, and you'll be in a deal tomorrow.
They made us sign a non-compete. Is that normal?
Dude, what's one? Okay, you get 30 grand off a deal. Who cares?
And it took you 6 months.
Yeah, you could have made that in a day.
Right.
But I want to start now, like just learning. I'm not gonna buy whatever. So this was like in October. I was like, join, whatever. So he joined, didn't do anything for a couple months. What's interesting about how I did it was I didn't use any paid traffic.
All right, so pretty similar to what I thought. When I asked Ryan, should I start my own house flipping business? He told me, absolutely not. So we had gone through, I'd explained to him a little bit about how I have my consulting business where I teach insurance agents how to scale their business. And then I also have the insurance agency that I'm working on. And his first thing to me was that it just wouldn't be worth my time. And all of my time is much better spent in these current businesses that I have than creating this one. And he also told me that my consulting business has much higher potential than a house flipping business, which I didn't know. I thought that there was a lot of room for profit, and I think that there is a lot of room for profit, but Ryan is very bullish and very strong opinioned on education companies. And that's kind of what I have over here, an education consulting company. And he thinks that that's a really good model in order to reach a lot of people, help a lot of people, but it's also a very scalable model. So what he told me straight up was that it wouldn't be worth my time. It wouldn't be worth the money to go into a house flipping business. So what he told me to do instead is, with my extra money that I'm making, invest it into funds or syndications if I wanted to get into real estate. So what he just said is, save your money. You can go into what's called a syndication. So for those of you that don't know, a syndication, there will be an organizer and they will go out and either people will send properties to them or they will go find properties. They're usually multifamily, multi-unit apartments. They could be commercial, but typically they're multifamily, multi-unit apartments. And then what they'll do is they will start to raise capital. And the difference between a syndication and a fund, you put money into the fund, like Cardone Capital, that's a really big fund. And then the fund manager can then more than once just continue to put that into their own real estate investments. They can take it out. It doesn't get owed back to you at that point. There are certain restrictions in that with you're not able to take your money out at certain times. The fund basically is you giving your money to someone and they will invest it how they see fit because you trust them, and then you will get profits and proceeds in monthly checks to you. A syndication, they will go and they will raise capital, but it's only for that one specific deal. It is not for the manager to go and buy one thing and then make some money off of it, pay it back, go buy another thing. Every single syndication is specific to that one deal. And so the difference between a fund is when you invest in a fund, you're basically buying shares of the fund, so you don't get the real estate benefits. When you buy into a syndication, you are a part owner not quotes, but you are actually a part owner of that property. So you do get all the real estate benefits when it comes to taxes and all that other stuff. So little lesson on syndications versus funds, but that's the one thing he told me was that don't spend your time trying to create an active business, especially with house flipping. It's not worth it. Go into syndications, putting your money where other people can do the heavy lifting, and you're just basically passively investing into that. All right, so the next question or takeaway that I wanted to get from this afternoon was, how have you grown your businesses and scaled your businesses so fast and so well? So again, if you're not familiar with Ryan, he has a lot of businesses. Again, go check him out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. There's a show on TV, I think it's called The Oracle, and it's this guy that goes into businesses and he gets a percentage of it and he grows the business, scales it, puts teams in, all that stuff. And so Ryan, I would say, is the oracle of YouTube, the oracle of social media. Ryan has developed this amazing personal brand where he gets a ton of traffic of people watching him, following him, just interested in what he has to say. So he's developed this great personal brand, and from this personal brand, he's been able to leverage that into multiple different businesses. So he has his future flipper business that he created on his own. He has his actual real estate agency or brokerage, which he started and created on his own. And then from there, he has a CPA, an accountant company called TrueBooks that he was able to leverage his social media brand in order to get 50% of that. And then I believe it's 50%, I don't know, but he's a part owner. And then he has an e-com store business that he was also able to leverage his social media to get equity, 50% or whatever it may be, but he's a part owner in that as well. And then there's several other businesses. And so Ryan has done an amazing job of being able to attract people that want to start businesses. And then his part of the company is basically the visionary, the overseer. He's the person that is making content, driving traffic to these businesses, and then coming up with ideas and kind of structuring and managing people, but he doesn't do the day-to-day. So with that, I was very curious how he was able to put the right people in these teams, in these businesses, in order to get them to truly run on their own without him having to be there day-to-day micromanaging every single thing. And what he told me is that in every single one of these businesses he has at least one, if not multiple, operators that have the same goals as him. So he has structured their compensation, their pay, to align with what his goals are. So the way he does that is he gives them a certain percentage of net profit or a certain percentage of sales, whatever it may be. Basically, all of their pay is some version of commission so that as the business grows, their income grows as well. And so he has aligned every person that is an operator level in his business with the same goals as him, and has given that person autonomy to grow the business, and he gives people responsibility, and it's worked amazingly for him. So when I learned that, I immediately came back, and Carter is my GM. For any of you that know that, Carter, he does everything in my business. He's an amazing guy. I moved him basically to COO/GM position, and I gave him a percentage of net profit so that his goals would be aligned with my goals. And since doing that, it has made a huge transition in our business, in his passion to continue to go out and go the extra mile to find new ways to grow the business, to find new ways to grow profit, to find new ways to cut expenses. And these are all things that a normal position wouldn't typically do because they're not incentivized to do this outside of their normal day-to-day activities. But when you can take somebody in your business and make their goals the same as yours, to where we grow the business, we make more profit, we make more money, he's gonna make money as well too. That person's gonna make more money as well too. It gets them to be excited to come into work. It gets them to be excited to go the extra mile, to start researching new things, to start being innovative. And it has been so cool to see. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. If you guys have that potential in your business to take somebody from a salary that feels like an expense, turn them into commission in some way tied to the goals of your business that you value, and you guys are all on the same page, I highly recommend that. It made a huge difference. All right, so the third and final takeaway had to do with social media. Again, Ryan has grown I think he's around 1 million followers on TikTok. He's got 200,000 on Instagram and another 200,000 on YouTube. And he did that in like 15 months. So he grew incredibly fast. So I wanted to figure out, one, did he feel like social media was worth it? Because I've had a few mentors that say social media doesn't matter at all, strictly go with paid ads. And then I see Ryan over here crushing it, and he rarely runs any paid ads. So I wanted to know his thoughts when it came to, did he think social media, putting time into that was a good idea? And then from there, what advice do you have on that? So his thoughts were social media was a resounding yes. He has grown and built so many of his businesses because of his social media following. In real estate, he gets deals sent to him all the time because of his social media following. He's able to hire people in his business quickly and efficiently and attract top talent because of his social media following. So with that, I decided like I needed to go all in on social media. I started to need to put out a lot more content the way that he did. So again, I wanted to know what his advice was. What should I do? So he told me that I should create and really try to establish a personal brand for me. And again, all of you listening, take this advice because it doesn't apply to just me. I would say that it applies to most people. So the way that I had kind of structured things is that I have my brand, Justin Thomas, but I also have my main business, Insurance Advertising Masters, and I've kind of put them all together because I didn't want to separate or segregate followers and really miss out. I wanted one channel where I could collect everyone. And I think that I'm gonna stay and maintain that on YouTube because I don't wanna make a separate YouTube channel for my specific businesses. I just want this main YouTube channel where I talk about a lot of the stuff that I'm interested in. And then you guys are hopefully, people following me, subscribing to me, are interested in a lot of the same things that I'm interested in as well too. That's the whole point. I put out videos of what I'm interested in, and then naturally that will attract people that are interested in the same stuff as me. I don't really want to try and pander or cater to a specific audience because then YouTube becomes not fun for me. Then content becomes not fun for me. And we run a lot of paid ads. We get a ton of traffic to our businesses that way. I want people to find me that are interested in the stuff that I want to talk about because they're also interested in it as well. So YouTube's gonna stay this way. Now we have Instagram. Instagram, I'm gonna have one main channel. Again, this is what Ryan recommended. One main channel that is my personal brand where, similar to YouTube, I talk about what I'm interested in. But then on Instagram, I need to have a business Instagram page for each business. And then when I talk about those specific businesses on Instagram, I can push people to those specific businesses. There's several different reasons for doing this, but one of the big things that made sense to me was that way you don't get pigeonholed into business Instagrams or socials. A lot of people will go all in, only ever talking about their business. And I think that I did this to some extent, but I'm really at a point where I can transition. People will do this and get up to hundreds of thousands of followers or subscribers. And then it's really hard to start talking about anything that they're interested in. And then their social media, which should be an outlet, an expression of themselves, their lives, what they're doing, what they're interested in, becomes this database where they only talk about their business. And anytime they don't talk about their business, nobody cares. And so when you do it that way, you just get pigeonholed into that type of account, that type of, whatever it may be. And I just didn't want to do that personally. And this way I can, again, attract people that care about what I care about. They want to hear about what I'm interested in because they're also interested in it. And if they fit the bill of anyone that would fall within any of my businesses, I can send traffic to those specific places. So it can be through Instagram, or I can send links to my funnels, whatever it may be. But the whole point was to have a personal brand and then have that personal brand be the thing that sends traffic to these other businesses. And that traffic is completely for free, which is another reason why social media is a great place to go. Personally, I would recommend starting with paid ads so you can get something predictable and then add social media afterwards. Ryan did it the other way around, but Ryan crushed it off the bat. He has a very energetic and sparky personality. So, if you don't, and it takes a little bit more work on social media, like it probably does for me, I'd rather start with the predictable thing first, then add social media to make your businesses more profitable. That way with predictability, you can really grow your business a lot easier and a lot more scalable, and you just know you have a path to do it. It's not random. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna put out this video. I don't know how many people I'm gonna get from it, but hopefully we'll get some. With paid ads, you can be very, very specific. The last thing with social media, Ryan said, was post a lot. You never know what's gonna work. So the more you post, the quicker you can test, the quicker you can see what people are actually interested in when they are engaging with your content, what gets more views, what gets more likes, what gets more reach. Because that's the most important thing to growing, is getting reach, putting out content that your audience actually likes. With a caveat, right? You don't want to just always be pandering and trying to create content that you know is going to be searched for. That's an important part of it. But you also want to be talking about stuff that you're interested in so that you can come off as passionate. You can come off as excited to talk about what you're talking about and not dull and bored. All right, cool guys. Those are the 3 big takeaways. And another important thing is, if you ever go to speak to somebody, come prepared, come with expectations of what you want to take away so that you can take and have the most value of that limited amount of time you have with somebody. That is a huge thing that I learned recently. I used to in the past just go without expectation and be like, hey, this person's gonna talk to me about what I need. And that's not the case, because most people just don't know how to do that and they don't know what you need. So come with expectations anytime you go to a mastermind, anytime you go to talk to somebody. But if you guys are watching and you are an insurance agent, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link below to my company so you guys can find that if you're interested. In addition to that, I'm also gonna put the link down to some of Ryan's socials so you can go check him out. And also he has a link for if you want to go golfing with him like I did, especially if you're interested in anything business. If you're at a high level, I would say you probably wanna be close to at least $1 million a year to get the benefits of spending that amount of time with somebody at his level. One of the big things when it comes to paying mentors is you don't want to pay somebody that is way, way, way ahead of you. If you're making 6 figures and you go sit down with Warren Buffett, who's a billionaire, he's not going to be able to give you the value, because what he tells you, you won't really be able to use. So if you're in that range, if you're interested in business, especially if you're interested in real estate, I would highly suggest going and golfing with Ryan, and I will put that in the description. But thank you all for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. Please let me know if you like this type of content where I'm kind of reviewing some of the mentors I've talked to, other business stuff besides just insurance advertising, which has been a lot of my stuff up to this point. If there's anything else you guys want to hear about from me, such as real estate, where I'm investing my money, what I'm interested in, what other types of businesses I have ideas on. I have a lot of experience with e-commerce, all that stuff. I'm probably not gonna ever get back into it. But if you guys have any types of content that you're interested in me talking about, please drop them in the comments. And as always, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thank you guys, and I will see you on the next one.